Good evening, good morning. I don't know what's the time difference with afternoon here in California. My name is Ilya Bezoglov. My partner Carl's here. We are recording a presentation video for the situation when you are being unfortunately a victim of a robbery, dealing with a ATM machine, which is again unfortunately it's quite common situation. It can be what we called in law enforcement a strong arm robbery. It's just when the perpetrator doesn't have any weapons, he's just using his bodily weapons to attack and to get money from you. Or even worse, they do have weapons. And that's in this case for this presentation video, we're going to use the common handgun. It's a Glock 17, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's a replica. We're never going to use the real gun. We're going to use this replica to show some techniques, how to defend yourself against a strong arm robbery or being attacked with body weapons, strikes, kicks, that kind of nature, and against the fire. Again, it's always our philosophy is being if they just targeting the money, if that conflict can be resolved by giving them the money, give them the money. It's the easiest way. If that's what they're after and there's no real harm to you, they just desperately need that piece of paper with numbers on it, give them the money and avoid the conflict, especially physical conflict, this way. Unfortunately, again, we live in a world when that might not be the only option. You will have to defend yourself because they really try to cause you harm, and self-defense is the only option. Situation will show, which is unfortunately in the modern society is very probable, is someone's attacking you with a striking technique. Punching, kicking, whatever it might be, is now physically attacking you. The problem with a physical attack, if I'm here and he's physically attacking me, if I'm just turning around and trying to run away, I'm probably going to eat a couple punches on the way out. Now I don't have any visual connection with the suspect. I don't even know if he's got any weapons that can stab me in the back, or he just jumps on me and now taking me to the ground, not by my choosing. So at least the initial attack needs to be stopped. And there's a very good technique. It's a shoulder lock. They call them in jiu-jitsu. There's a couple different terminology, but it's a very common technique that we teach police officers and security guards and civilians for self-defense. So the moment I see this, even I'm stepping in. That's called the spear stepping in. It's if I strike him on the way, I strike him on the way. That's unfortunate. I immediately lock his shoulder. I can do my own arm. I can do his elbow. The reason he's bending forward that bad is because I'm putting a lot of pressure on that shoulder. And as long as I drive that shoulder to the ground, he's going to be going to the ground. And we can go all the way down, or the moment I step in, I'll give a couple of strikes, separate, and off I go. I don't even want to go 70% because that's the initial strike. We're going to go 50. So the moment I see the toes stepping in, here we can go to what is called kimura. That's even better. And at this point, I can drive him to the ground and just sit there waiting for law enforcement if he's by himself. If not, as I say, the separation and going to your escape is probably the best way to deal with it. Call 911 and let authorities to finish this. Okay, so we covered the hand-to-hand combat if you're being attacked without the weapons. Now we're going to deal a couple examples is I will go with the worst example. Carl is an armed robber and he's got a gun. And I'm watching ATM, I'm getting my money, I'm putting my ATM card and boom, I got this. Again, we're going to go through the whole de-escalation trainings. If the part of it, I will try to convince him with all the best performances just to take the money and leave me alone. It's not happening. Now I have to conduct self-defense against this firearm. I'm going to go slow first, and then we're going to speed it up just to show how effective the technique is. Hands up, hands up. And the moment I feel this firearm, the first movement is going to be extremely fast because I want to be outside of this line of fire as fast as possible. Even if he shoots this time, I mean, it's going to be a brazing at best. And we actually, with law enforcement sequence, we tried that with sim guns. It worked every single time. Right? And It's gonna be quick move. This elbow is gonna strike him as hard as I can. From this point, I'm gonna be striking him with a whole bunch of different moves, knees, elbows, to the moment that I soften him up enough to get this. This is pretty good luck. There's no way he can shoot me once I'm doing all this stuff. I'm gonna grab this arm out, separate. Hopefully at that point he's just gonna fall to the ground, and off I go. I'm not even gonna go 50%. That just to give you, there is no mats here. Just to give you a feel for that initial strike, this is how hard that strike is. So if I go anywhere more than 50%, I'm just gonna cripple my dear friend, and I don't want to do it. So we're gonna go slow, but just to show how the whole flow. Here. And we separate. Carl, anything?
I don't really have much time to react, especially when I'm at that close quarters. Obviously, if the person has a lot of space, that's probably not the wisest thing. But when they place that gun onto your back and you're actually within that striking distance, it works really, really well. I can't really react to it. I'm immediately getting softened up with that heavy elbow and those knees that accompany it.
Right. And that generates that velocity, that spinning elbow generates a lot of power. It doesn't. I don't have to be 6'1", 200-pound guy. Those way smaller person will drop someone just with that velocity, that elbow. So with those two techniques, just to give you an example, we're going to show you for a self-defense against armed robbery and robbery with the strikes and the kicks. But again, there's a whole arsenal of different techniques that we can use, from taking people to the ground, you being attacked with a bear. I mean, there's a whole curriculum that covers your self-defense from many, many different angles.